Hi there and welcome to this slightly delayed edition of the night sky for July. It's not a brilliant sky, July. We've still got astronomical twilight running through into certainly to around the 14th, 15th of July in the northern hemisphere. But nevertheless, there are some interesting constellations making their way into our skies right now. Sagittarius, Scorpius and Hercules are the three we're going to have a quick look at. Sagittarius, which looks a bit like a teapot to the naked eye, or the brightest stars do, actually it's an asterism of the much bigger constellation, has the centre of our Milky Way sitting inside it in the sort of southwestern part of Sagittarius. It's a Sagittarius A black hole. It's 26,000 light years away, and it has a mass of about 2.5 million solar masses. So a mass 2.5 million times the mass of our Sun. To the right of Sagittarius, always, is Scorpius, the Scorpion. Now, from England, it never really gets fully above the horizon. It's always very, very low on the horizon when it does. From the Mediterranean, or if you're listening to this watching this from places like Florida and North America from the south, it does get fully above the horizon. And it's quite an easy to observe constellation with the red star Antares at its heart, a 0.96 magnitude star. Now, the red star Antares represents the heart of the Scorpion. And if you see the proper constellation of Sagittarius the Archer, its bow and arrow, or its arrow, is pointing directly at the heart of the Scorpion. It's sort of standing guard over it throughout eternity. But we will look at those more when we actually look at those constellations later on in the year, in our series looking at the Greek constellations. But the red star Antares is very easy to spot. In ancient Greek, they thought it was the duplicate of Mars. It was like Mars, is Antares what it means. And it is easy to see. And certainly from the star of Antares, you can see the curve of the Scorpion's tail rolling around. And I always think Scorpius is a good constellation to see, but not necessarily from Britain. Now, one that we can see in the northern hemisphere this time of the year, just above Sagittarius, is Hercules. Although it has no stars brighter than 2.5 magnitude, so therefore it doesn't have a lot of the really bright stars in it. Alpha Hercules is Ras Algeti. It's a triple star system. But Beta Hercules, incidentally called Corniferous, is the brightest star at magnitude 2.8. And it's a yellow star. It's a yellow giant. It's about 148 light years away from us. But also within Hercules are the two Messier objects, the brightest globular cluster of them all, M13 and M92. And it also contains, as you can see in this picture, the famous butterfly planetary nebula, NGC 6302. Now, we don't generally look at NGC objects, but the butterfly is a very, very famous Hubble image, as you can see here. In terms of planets this month, again, it's the morning sky pretty much, but the planets are slowly moving into the evening sky. Saturn, which reaches opposition from the Sun, so therefore should be its brightest, but it is still a fairly dim object, but still quite easy to see, finally enters the evening sky, and it's from about 11 o'clock, 2300 UTC, always use Universal Time Central, from about the 20th of July. It's in Sagittarius, so it's low down, but look south after midnight and you'll see it. Jupiter, likewise, is around at its brightest around the 14th, about a week before, around about midnight Universal Time Central. And again, it's in Sagittarius. So both bright stars are sitting in Sagittarius, which make Sagittarius quite easy to spot as well. At a magnitude of minus 2.6, it's nice and bright as Jupiter. Venus, still sitting in the morning sky. In fact, at the end of the month, around about the 31st of July, you can see it in Taurus. Look northeast in the morning sky, and the morning star Venus is shining at a magnitude of about minus 4.3, very close to the orange star Aldebaran, the Watcher, the eye of Taurus the Bull. Mars, well, best to see at the end of the month, early in the morning sky. It rises about 0300 Universal Time, and it's sitting in the constellation of Pisces. So look southeast and visually shining, not too bright. Magnitude's just about minus 0.5, so it's just in the negative scale. Now, July is not the best month for meteor showers. It's the beginning, if you like, of our meteor season, I always think, because we're coming up to August, September and the spectacular Perseids, but we'll look at those next month. This month we have two. The Alpha Capricornids is a minor meteor shower, and it's around throughout pretty much the whole of July and into the beginning of August, from about the 3rd of July through to around about the 15th of August. Its centre maximises around about the 30th of July, towards the end of the month. It's not a strong shower, but about 5 meteors an hour. However, it does produce bright fireballs, which is one of the reasons why it is worth going out on a dark sky location. Take a flask with you, maybe some sandwiches, and camp out for an hour or so. Look towards the south, towards Capricorn, and you may get to see a fireball, which is always worth seeing. Seen equally well around the tropics, both north and south of the equator, but it's harder the more further north you get. The other shower at the moment is the Delta Aquarids, and they're from around about the 12th of July, so we're not there yet, through to again about the 23rd of August, with the peak taking place around the 29th, 30th of July. Again, it's a moderate shower, but it kicks off the season in the Northern Hemisphere, as we say. However, it is best viewed from the Southern Hemisphere. Those living on the southern latitudes in the Northern Hemisphere may get to glimpse this shower. The moon will reach its full phase early in July, around on the 5th at about 3:44 UTC. And the July full moon is known as the Grain or the Hay moon here in Britain. And it always shines in or near the sign, again, of Sagittarius and Capricorn, which we've been looking at. This year, the full moon will feature a shallow penumbral lunar eclipse, and it begins at around about 3 a.m. UTC, with the greatest eclipse at about 0430, but only 35% of the moon will fall into the Earth's shadow. So really, it's not a particularly spectacular one, and certainly the moon will not change colour. Well, that's our little look at the July nighttime sky and some of the constellations that are around this month. I'm sorry it's been a little bit late getting out. Humble apologies for that. I will ensure that August is out in good time, because as we say, August, we get the spectacular meteor storm and other objects appearing in the sky. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little look at the July sky, and you join me next month for August and the Perseids meteors. So dark skies, happy stargazing, and speak to you soon. Bye for now.